You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Oilersnation Radio, episode 66. I am your friendly host.
The Josh Hosang episode.
It's the Josh Hosang episode because there is no one else that has ever worn 66 ever that has mattered.
I can't think of another 66 in the NHL.
To my right is the Nation Dan. We've got Nick and Rick finishing out the end of the table. And then across from me, we have got Hernan sitting in for the recently married Tyler Yaremchuk.
Congratulations.
I thought you were going to say departed.
Everyone throw your rice.
Congratulations, of course, to Tyler. Take a big step in his personal life, marrying his girlfriend. I'm very proud of him. Our little boy has become a man, Nick.
Yes, congratulations, Mrs. Yaremchuk.
This is very, very exciting. Very exciting. Just like starting off a podcast with shouting out our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant out in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta. Go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. They are wonderful people. Dan, you were out there with them a little while ago.
Yeah, Monday. Cool.
Tell us about it.
Spicy. Yeah, we were down at the Strathcona Christmas Bureau and got to do kind of a unique thing that I've never been able to do before, which is stuffing some hampers for some families and friends in need. And it was really it was a neat thing to see, and it was cool to see. We were there for the last day of stuffing the hampers, so all of the hampers were there. I think they had like 585 different families that they're providing gifts and then food and such too. So yeah, just a really rewarding experience. And Sherwood Ford, they kind of take the month of December to kind of relax, and because they're doing charity stuff every month. So yeah, that was the finish off to 2019 for us, and we'll start new with Sherwood Ford next year.
Of course, if you spot Jay driving around in the Nation truck anywhere in the city, snap a picture of that baby. Tweet it, Instagram it, use the hashtag NationTruck, and you will be entered to win a $100 gift card. Gentlemen, I want to start off today's podcast with the Sherwood Ford Giant question of the week.
Giant.
How many wins will the Edmonton Oilers get over their final 8 of December? We have got the Leafs. We have got the Stars, the Blues, the Penguins, the Habs, the Canucks, the Flames, and the Rangers. There is your 8 games left on the schedule. Hernan, I'm throwing to you first.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hernan, let's
Love
go.
this. I'm going to say 2.
2. Hernan.
Hernan. Why?
I'm saying they're going to beat Toronto tomorrow,
I love
and
it.
then the Penguins. And
Okay.
then because if you look at the record in St. Louis and in Dallas, it's very bad. They haven't won in Dallas since 2016. St. Louis is always a tough place to play. And the way the team's playing right now, goaltending's kind of sliding. I can only give them 2 wins right now. I know that's a bit of being a negative Nelly, but that's what I got. Hopefully it's more. I mean, I want them to win more. But if I'm being realistic and honest, I got to say 2.
So why can't we beat Montreal?
Well, we could. I just don't.
Why not,
I mean,
though?
they can beat any of these teams, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you think we'll beat Montreal? I should frame it.
Those games are always good. They're always tight. But you got to give the slight edge if right now to Montreal. And I know Carey Price has struggled as of late, but the way the goaltending until the Oilers show me they can play a good game because their last 5-6 have been pretty bad. I can't give him the benefit of the doubt right now.
Nicholas, you chimed in. Of the 8 remaining games, how many will the Edmonton Oilers win?
I will.
Don't take my answer.
Okay. Rick, I'm looking at you. I'm trying to.
I'm closing my eyes so you can't read my soul.
I'm going to say 4. They're going to go 4-4.
God damn it.
Yeah.
All right. So I said Rick's number. Okay, so then I'm gonna elaborate a little bit.
Yep.
Be specific.
Okay.
Which 4 games are they winning?
Okay, yeah, we're going to beat Toronto because we have to, because that's just I can't take it if we lose to fucking Toronto.
There's nothing worse.
I can't. Dallas is hot, yeah. So probably Dallas, St. Louis. That's gonna. I could see us dropping those. But near the end of the month, we're going to take one out of Calgary or Vancouver. Those divisional games, we're going to take one of those. And then the Rangers, like, come on, what are we talking about? The Rangers on New Year's Eve? Although, historically, we don't do
Exactly,
so well
yeah.
on New Year's Eve. I think the boys get a little ahead
I like
of
how
themselves.
you just like started to talk yourself out of your own.
But no, I'm going to say we're going to change it up. We're going to take the Rangers. So
Rick, you said 4 as well. Which of these games? Toronto, Dallas, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, Rangers. Are they winning?
I'm going 5 now.
Hell yeah.
And I'm going to go Calgary, Vancouver, both W's. One of the Saturday games is a W. We're taking the Pittsburgh game.
Hell yeah.
And then we just got to win one of the other St. Louis Dallas Ranger game.
Daniel, you've been calculating. I see you drawing.
Yeah.
You've got some notes going on here.
He's got a chart.
I got a chart. Whoa.
So I did a post about it on the Nation to start the month, actually, and kind of asked for people's records. And my record that I gave was I said
We
we
did
were
it
going
on
to be
the podcast.
9-3-2.
We did that
Did
on
we?
the podcast.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
You
I
said
9-3-2 for the month of December. So it's still mathematically possible.
Everybody's got to go back and listen because we were all hefty on the W
I think
side
it's
of that.
that wins.
So I said 9-3-2, and I'm looking back at the graphic that I drew up on Twitter just to show where I thought the wins were going to come from. And I have us beating Toronto, Dallas, St. Louis, Vancouver, Calgary, and New York. And then I had us losing an OT to Pittsburgh and losing to Montreal. So I'm going to change that loss to
What's
Montreal
with
to a
all the
win.
Montreal love in this? I mean,
It's
I know,
because-
It's less a Montreal thing, and it's more
I know
like
their
CBC.
fan base is dying.
It's
But
They
CBC Saturday night national game. We no, last a little while. Don't do it so well.
Montreal's not good.
I look at it like the building turns into a Montreal West kind of location, and it's an evening game again, another 5 p.m. start on a Saturday.
How is that possible though with their dwindling fan base, Dan?
Yeah.
Well, they're
all dying
they're still
off.
alive over here. They're dead in Montreal.
And Edmonton's last win against Toronto was February 11th, 2016.
But
so
that was
something
with-
has to give.
Is that
But
real?
Nazem Kadri
Yeah.
isn't there
Oh.
anymore.
They've
Yes.
lost 6 straight.
Stupid Kadri's not there.
That's true too.
So I have them winning 7 games and losing 1 in overtime to keep my record alive.
Bag milk?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say they're going to go 50-50 over the 500 over these last 8 games. I'm going to say they're winning Toronto tomorrow. They're going to surprise against Dallas. They will also beat Vancouver and Calgary.
Vancouver and Calgary. Okay.
Yep. I'm going to say 500. Hernan, write that down.
Okay.
Got it? Got it.
I saw him write it down.
Perfect. So this week we are continuing our tradition of bringing in a 6-pack into the podcast. We're not going to tell you which one it was. We appreciate all of the guesses last week. A lot of people thought it was Steam Whistle, Nick.
It was not.
Well, what did you bring in? This was your first. You started the tradition.
I did.
It was your first pick.
It was
What
a.
was it?
It was a.
Same color.
It was same color, accessible, crispy boy. That's why I brought it in. Steam Whistle's a great guess. It was green packaging, but it was Rolling Rock, straight out of Latrobe. So this week it was Dan's turn.
Yep.
And Dan, what did you? How would you describe what you decided to bring in this week?
It's a Canadian brewery. It's a sweet, but nice brown beer. I think we went with color last time, so we might as well keep on that
Tyler
trend.
kept saying it was a yellow.
Yeah, that was his description. So I got to go with Tyler's brown description. What else would you guys say?
I would say there's a nice signature on it. It's really nice penmanship.
Yep.
Strong signature.
Nice.
Comes from the times of Prohibition.
I was just gonna say the ads that they were running there for a while to make themselves like appear like they've been around forever.
So if you know it, tag us at ON Radio.
We will hook you up with a Nation Gear promo code of some kind or some other prize.
If they
Whatever
tag
we've
us
got.
and they're wrong, do they have to bring us some beer?
They should definitely bring us beer. So all you people that guessed Steam Whistle last week, you owe us beer now.
You owe us.
You owe a Steam Whistle. Yeah.
Yeah, I would enjoy a Steam Whistle. But that is not what we're drinking
it is
today.
not.
No. Hernan, I've got bad news.
What's that?
The Oilers have lost 2 very disappointing games in a row.
You could argue 3 because the Buffalo game they fought back in that one too.
Oh, fuck, you're right. All right, so 3 very disappointing comeback games in a row. Hernan, I got a question for you.
Sure.
How do the Oilers come roaring back in the third period only to break our hearts and lose those games? So last night, obviously, they were down by 2, come flying back, and then the wheels fell off.
Yeah, it's for me. It's just defensive lapses, man. They can't get out of their own way right now. Like they fight so hard to get back in the game. They took the lead in the game in the first period. They were good for like 8 minutes, and then they kind of fall off. And even when McDavid tied it at 4, didn't you guys all feel that like, something bad's gonna happen in these last 5? I remember
Unfortunately,
I looked at handsome Tom Gazzola for many reasons, but he he looked at me as well and said, "Yeah, something bad's gonna happen."
That's a
and like
special moment.
2 minutes later, Eric Stahl scores. So honestly, I think they just got to get back to. And I'm not saying the D core. I'm saying as a team defensively, they're a mess in their own zone right now. And you have to throw in goaltending as well. You can't put all the goals on the goalies, but they have to make a save. You get paid to make the big saves. Mike Smith, Koskinen in the last 2 games haven't done that. So
my question, though, is if it's I agree with you. It's team structure defensively.
Yeah.
Does that not fall on Tippett a bit there?
But I mean, how much can he do? Like he's saying it in the practices on the bench. Like if the players, like the first goal, for example, they're cheating for offense again, right?
Yes.
The second goal, the fourth line is trying to get too cute in the offensive zone. They lose the puck. So I mean, that's not on Tippett.
And like,
is that the one where Jujhar Khaira threw the blind pass? Into
See, and I don't think it was that bad. I mean, Sheehan was right. What is he, 4 or 5 feet away? Like it was probably a little bit riskier than need to be in the last 20 seconds. But at the same time, you're looking to create offense. I didn't think that one was that atrocious.
I just think that Jujhar's got to I just think he's got to pick a better time to take that risk. Where there's 20 seconds left on the clock, turn around, throw it back in the corner. I think that's the smart conservative.
And that's just such a bad time to get scored on too.
But you know what they're doing though is they're
not that there's a good time to get scored on.
They're pushing for offense at that point. Yeah. That's why those ones I'll let go a little bit more than I will some sort of defensive lapses. Because if you're going for offense, that's what we need to do. And if you're going to push, you're going to make some mistakes
but you
here
still
and
have
there.
to be calculated in when you take those offensive chances.
That's okay, but at the same, you
can't just constantly be pinching and taking offensive chances
he wasn't
for the sake of offense.
He didn't pinch or nothing.
No,
he
but
was
I'm saying
exactly where he's supposed to be. And then just made a bad choice.
I just think that earlier in the season when the Oilers were really rolling, they weren't trying to force offense as much as they were lately. Do you know what I mean? Like I think if this was the first maybe 10 games, Jujhar's not trying to make that pass. He's trying to pin it along the boards, or he's trying to get the cycle going again, or something down low. I think
there was a defenseman or a winger that would have been between him and the defenseman right there.
I just don't like the play.
No, I don't either.
I don't like the play.
They're letting guys get around. 2 of those goals, the defense let Minnesota forwards get behind them and get partial breaks.
Yeah,
that Zucker goal is terrible. Like you can't. Like those are the things.
There's very few defensemen that are going to be able to skate with him there, though.
And that's fine, but that should have never happened in the first place.
He gets.
Why can't we give credit to the other team?
Of course we can't. Of course you can. But I mean, at the same time, there is some blame to go around. Like you can't, as a defenseman, you can't just let a guy get around you untouched like that. You just can't.
I also think of I don't remember who scored last night, but Daryl made a terrible change. Adam Larson.
That was Donato's
goal. That was a really weird one because it took forever for Larson to get over over the bench there. That was bad communication somehow there.
But also
Myers got cost.
Second period too. You have the long change. Like you have to be smart with your line changes, right?
They were. It was honestly I can't believe I'm gonna say this. Because if you think about how the puck got turned over right there, that was Connor got in across the blue line, tried to just sneak through the legs of the defenseman. It got caught up in his skates and puck turned around real fast. I mean, if you're a defenseman and you're in the second period and you're like, hey, I needed to change, the best time to change is when you see Connor with the puck. But you know what? At the end of the day, it just wasn't a very fast change. It took Larson forever to get over the board.
Now, a good point was brought up last night. If Nurse is coming off, who's supposed to replace him? It's either Clefbaum or Chris Russell.
Right.
Why did Adam Larson jump on?
Okay. So
why did he feel that? Did he feel that the other guys weren't ready to go and he jumped on late?
That is fair.
That's fair.
I didn't even
right?
thought about
but
that.
I'm not putting that on I'm not putting that on Nurse. I'm putting that on whoever was supposed to come back on because it took forever.
What I'm putting it on is the Oilers are just like,
well,
this is one of those things where you got to pay attention to details. Like these are avoidable goals that you're playing sloppy.
I mean, it's also the defensive coach's fault too. Like you're operating that end of the bench. Like you're supposed to be keeping your guys aware. So
yeah, but you kind of like this is NHL. You kind of get to tap them on. Next guys, you guys are up. It's now on them to get over the boards. That coach ain't know what they're pushing as soon as the guys coming close.
There was definitely a miscommunication of some kind. You could tell by the way that Adam Larson was pissed off when that goal went in.
He was not happy. He slapped that
classic firing the puck at the boards after. So. I think there's just details that they need to tighten up. And it's like even going back to the Jujhar one, it's not like I want to shit on Jujhar. He's been playing very well. It's just details.
It's such a shitty loss too, especially because Clefbaum scores, Gaetan Haas scores, 4 defensemen get points. Like we get all this depth scoring that we're, apparently missing, and we fucking blow it. That's just the worst part about it is, again, everything was going right except you can argue the goaltending a little bit. Like that first goal, we talked about it earlier upstairs, but that first goal, Mike Smith is already losing his mind. With one, like, you got to cool it a little. I get it. His energy and his passion and his emotion is part of his game, but it comes a point when like you're getting scored on the first shot or your first goal of the game and you're already freaking out. Like it's going to make the team in front of you a little bit erratic.
On a catchable puck, by the way.
Absolutely.
Catchable puck.
Those are the little things where it's like, man, you're already unraveling like 15 minutes or 10 minutes into this game.
So Oilersnation.com today, we've got 2 articles up about goaltending. Dusty wrote about it first thing this morning. Gregor just posted about an hour ago. My question for you guys, Dan, I'll start with you, is how much of these last 2 losses specifically, talking about Carolina and Minnesota, can be hung on the goalies? Both games, they had 6 goals against. Dusty went through, and in his opinion, on both of those games, there was 2 goals each that were probably stoppable, roughly, and 4 that you just kind of got to tip your cap to the shooters. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at the start of the year. Like the goalies were stealing games for us in spots that we probably didn't deserve to win the games, and now they're just not doing that. And the offense is there. And they're letting in those goals in the timely moments that just we just didn't have at the start of the year, and that's why we were putting together the wins that we were. I do agree with Dusty that I don't think that every goal against Koskinen and I don't think every goal against Smith you can be like, well, man, you got to fucking make those saves. Like I see what you guys are saying about him getting heated on the first goal, but like at the same time he's frustrated because Greenway's in his kitchen. And he wants to make that save. But I mean, the Donato shot was a fucking snipe.
Well, that's just it. If you want to make the save, make the fucking save. It hit your glove.
Agreed. But I mean, we're talking. What are we talking about here? Like, we're not NHL goalies. We're not shitting on the guy for that.
Let's not do that.
But you lose 2 games because the goalies didn't get you a timely save, and we battled back. The offense battled back, like Nick said. The depth is there. The depth scoring is coming. There's some positives to take away from that, and then the goalies just have to be better, and both of them know that. Both of them have been better this season. Arguably Koskinen a lot better than Smith. But yeah, I just think that I'd say, to answer your question, Bag Milk, it's probably 70% on the goalies the last 2 games, and then just hopefully they go out and whoever comes out on Saturday wins one for us against Toronto.
Hernan, should Dave Tippett have pulled Mike Smith after allowing 4 goals on 11 shots?
Oh, that's a good. I think he's been pulled only once, and he's
twice. I think.
Twice now. Yeah, for some reason Tip likes keeping him in there, and he battles through it. But I think after that 4th goal, just to get the boys going, Darnell did with the big hit and then the fight. But I think if you pull him there, then you just you change momentum maybe a little bit for a 2, 3, 4 minute stretch there. But again, I don't think that game, regardless of who was in net, because the defense was so bad. And just to Dan's point, and I know Dusty's defending the goaltenders here, and I think it's a bit of both. Like they're giving up grade A scoring chances, but your goaltender has to make a good save. Yep. Has to make a big save at one point. I mean, great shot, credit, yeah, okay, but you get paid to make the big saves, not the easy ones.
Well, and it's like Bag Milk was saying too. Like I'm not piling on Ethan Bear when I say it.
Yeah,
but that was probably his worst game of the season.
Oh yeah. Outside of his past,
and it's not to say that he's had a bad season. He's had an amazing season, but he played like dog shit yesterday, and he'll play better on Saturday. That's just the way it is. But yeah, I just think for Koskinen and for Smith, we've seen better from them, and I expect that it'll come back here.
And Koskinen was in the starters net today, so it looks like he's going to be the starter tomorrow.
And their plan with the goaltenders might be why they didn't pull him last night too.
That too, yeah.
Well, and that was what I was going to say too, because if they pull Smith, which I think you could argue both ways, but if they pull Smith and then Koskinen lets in a couple goals, it's like, oh boy,
then who do we go with?
Things just start snowballing for them. So I think. Let Smith stay in the fire. Yes, he fucked up and we lost. Now Koskinen comes out and takes the net back, hopefully.
Don't you have the numbers for Smith's last 10 games there, Bag Milk?
I do.
They're disgusting.
I do. They are not nice. So I'm just going to run through them real quick. So Minnesota, 769 save percentage. Nice. Not nice. Buffalo.
That's when someone's watching.
Buffalo, 864. Ottawa was 846. Vancouver before that was an 868. Vegas, great game, 926. And then LA, not so much, 750. Colorado, 939. San Jose, 760. St. Louis, 870. Pittsburgh, 961. And that rounds out to the beginning of November. That is Smith's last 10 starts. He's averaging an .878 over that time. He is 3-5-1, though there is an asterisk on there because he did come in relief in one game, and 33 goals against over that time.
In 10 games. Like, you're not going to win a lot of games when you're letting in you're averaging over 3 a game. Like,
it's a 3-2 league, right?
That's what they like to say, right? So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Can we think of any time in the last 10 starts that Mike Smith has made a save where you're like, wow?
Maybe the Vegas game?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But think about and again, I don't want to go back to the whole Koskinen versus Smith thing, because I think, it is what it is. But Koskinen just seems to have more of those moments when you're watching where it's like, holy shit, Mikko Koskinen is keeping us in this thing right now.
I mean, Rick and I were at the game last Friday against LA, and Koskinen was great. Arguably, in my opinion, the biggest reason that they ended up winning that game.
And I think for a team's psyche, that that matters. Like, if you're watching your goalie making these saves, you want to fight for that guy. But when, again, whether savable or not, and it happens to the best of them, but when you see Mike Smith let a goal in where it ricochets off his glove hand. Oh, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure Mike Smith got scored on like 3 or 4 times on his glove side. Didn't see any tweets about Mike Smith's glove last night. Anyway,
I just think you hate Mike Smith.
Well, I just, you know what? I'm losing a little bit of faith in the guy. That's all. I'm losing a little bit of faith. I'm starting to see why Calgary fans were so eager to let him go. Also, it doesn't help that Cam Talbot is playing pretty damn well for the Flames right now.
Well, and there was like last night was one of those worst case scenario type nights where the Oilers came roaring back in the third period. We're like, oh shit, 4-4, let's go. They drop the game. Calgary does the same thing against Toronto.
Back, yeah.
However, they win. Lucic is on the heater that I predicted last week. Talbot's playing well, so it's just like it's a kick to the
and now
pills.
what? They're 2 points behind us all of a sudden.
No, we're tied.
Oh, we're tied now.
Tied with Calgary. So
for third in the division or second?
Third.
Second.
Second. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody would have signed up for that at the beginning of the season anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But Bagmilk also brought up a good point yesterday. Is our record not eerily similar to what it was this time last year?
Yes, however,
basically identical.
Yes, however, this time last year is exactly when things went bad, when the Russell and the Clefbaum injuries, and we lost one other defenseman. This is exactly when things went down.
Then we panic traded.
Well, that's the good news, Dan, is that Ken Holland is not going to make those oh shit I'm drowning trades that Peter Chiarelli did at the end of December last year. We saw.
Well, technically, we're not drowning yet, right? Because to be fair,
I was talking about Pete specifically.
Yeah, but he lost 3 defensemen before he I don't want to say lost his mind because I don't think he had it before that, but he lost 3 defensemen before he started making some stupid moves.
Won't be on any Minnesota podcast anytime soon.
One day. Of course.
Good, I don't want to be.
I want to go ahead and thank our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant again. Go follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford, on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. Look out for Jay and his $3 washes in the Nation Truck. Take a picture, hashtag with Nation Truck. You're entered to win a $100 gift card. We do that monthly. Why? Because the people at Sherwood Ford are kind. Very, very kind. I want to finish the last little series on a positive note. I'm going to look at the last night's game. Are there positives to take away? I will go ahead and start. I loved watching Darnell Nurse beat the shit out of Jordan Greenway.
Finally, that's fucking hockey. That's the way it's supposed to be fucking played.
I'm just shocked the linesman didn't jump in.
Good.
No, I'm just shocked the way they've been. Sort of what the mantra's been lately. I was surprised.
To be fair, the one that hit him on that when he knocked him on the button and his knees almost collapsed. That's when I kind of thought they were gonna get in there. And then you had like 4 behind the heads, and then those 2 uppercuts. Thing of beauty.
Still old school hockey fight guy in me. The old NHL referees would have let them get up again because they were trying to get up off each other.
Those uppercuts
Yeah, but
were beauty, though.
when he started landing punches like that, that's kind of when he had
Darnell
to
was hammer fisting.
So right now, that is the third highest ranked fight from 2019-2020.
What's the highest ranked?
what's the highest?
It's actually last night's fight between Delorier and McDermott.
And what's second?
Tom Wilson versus Brendan Lemieux from November.
the Wilson Chara's not up there?
No.
What?
I think that there was I don't know. It wasn't. I guess
Just
it wasn't
those
long enough.
2 names alone should be enough
it's
to
viewed.
click.
It's highly viewed, and that's the other thing too.
Oh, 'cause
If your fight gets viewed a lot, you're gonna be.
I got to give
you
props
get
to
some hate
anybody
rating.
willing to drop the gloves with Chara. Like, you got to give props to anybody.
At this point, it's like I don't know. You're right. He's still a monster.
If anything, he's got old man strength.
But I love it because he's fought 2 nights in a row, which
Has
is
he?
unbelievable. Yeah,
Oh,
he
wow.
fought Tom Wilson yesterday, and then last night he fought, or 2 days ago, and then he fought holy, It's escaping me because there was 4 fights last night.
Oh no, the beer is starting to hit the bloodstream.
No, anyways, he fought twice in a row, so 2 nights back to back.
Go to hockeyfights.com to get all of the fights for the season. Dan has those up in a timely fashion. And back to the Oilers. Darnell Nurse's fight was a big positive for me.
Yep.
Also, my man, my boy, my love, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had an assist last night on James Neal's, the 5th goal of the night, getting him to 400 points as an Oiler. Shout out to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Hernan, are there positive takeaways?
Definitely. I think offensively, they got 5 goals. You got secondary scoring. And again, they weren't terrible. Like they generated a lot of chances. So for me, that's lapses. A positive. Yeah, exactly. Just those mental lapses that are costing them. So for me, the positive is that they're scoring goals. They're still generating tons of chances, and the power play is still clicking. So that's the positive I took out.
One that I thought was kind of like he had that, like he was out on the ice for that last goal there with the bad change. But I just feel like Larson's back now. Like I feel like he's skating.
It's
again.
Different though. It's not Larson from Edmonton. It's international Larson. Larson is out there. He's playing. He's moving the puck deep. Yeah. He's skating a lot better than we've seen him pretty much ever as an Oiler.
He's just confident and he plays the puck well and he's got the pinches down and again. And I think we all felt that he could have used some time in the AHL for conditioning coming back from his injury. And I think we're finally back to like Adam Larson good.
Well, I think that's an interesting point because a lot of people don't really, your body is healthy. Yep. That's one thing. But it's going to take you some time to get up to speed and play at an NHL level again. You got to get your timing back. You got to get your hands back, blah, 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 blah. And I'm happy to see that Larson is finally getting back there. Rick, Agreed. Positive from last night.
You know what? That's kind of where I was going. Like I've been a big fan of Adam the last 2 games. He's moving a lot. He's moving really well out there, and he's handling that puck and he's creating chances. You see him deep below the hash marks. You see him pinching. He's out there. He's still that stalwart in your own end. He's keeping guys away from the crease. I don't exactly know what his possession numbers are and all that fancy shit, but from my eye, I think he's coming back in and. That's what you really need because you need that extra right-handed defenseman who can handle the second line minutes. And once you get that going, we get our goaltending back to where it's supposed to be, and we keep that secondary scoring. We'll slip out of this slump here right away.
Nick, wrap it up with a positive, my friend.
It's got to be my man, Sam Gagner. What does he got to do to stay in the goddamn lineup?
Kill penalties.
But guy's getting points, though. All we complain about is that we don't have secondary scoring, and the guy...
No, we're complaining about goaltending.
He does seem to stir the drink on any line that he's
absolutely
on right
now. If you want to talk fancy stuff, Sam Gagner leads our team in Corsi for percentage, almost 54%.
Oh,
yes, exactly.
No, but he's still he does
expected goals.
He still doesn't have the offense, and he can't kill penalties. When you're looking at times like that's kind of why he's getting pulled out.
He doesn't have the offense. He's at half a point a game for a third liner.
Yeah, how many games has he played?
He's played. I have it right here. He's played 16 games. He has 8 points. Like, is that not what secondary scoring is? He also leads the team in expected goals for percentage. So he's on the ice more often when we're scoring than we're getting scored against. Like, I don't know. I think the guy is kind of ideally what you want for a depth player.
But Tippett has also said he likes speed in his lineup, and Sam Gagner does not meet that.
Well, yeah, okay.
And then look at for tomorrow the lines they have today: Neal, Haas, Gagner. That's a slow line, man. Slow line.
But I would argue that Gagner should be up on the second line.
And Haas is
it's
playing
too
well
much.
too.
We got to stop pushing these guys up the second line minutes.
I like
you guys want to do that with Jujar all the time too, and Jujar's a really, really, really good fourth line player.
Don't you want to call him? Don't you want to
over talking, boys? Over talking. Jesus.
Yes, I do want to have Benson up here. I don't know why they haven't called somebody up and give him a 4 or 5 game day stint. Why not? What do you got to lose?
You want to put him right on the second line, don't you?
Because that's where he fits.
So you're talking
about laughing? What do you mean?
Because you're talking about not pushing guys to play his second line, but then you're asking.
Yeah,
to
but
pull
he's going to be a top
AHL
6 player.
Not
Jujar
right now.
never in his life has been a top 6 player.
Tyler Benson is not a top 6 NHL player.
How
right
many
now.
games have you watched?
None in the NHL because he hasn't played any. You don't call a guy from AHL.
How many games in the AHL have you watched?
None. But
well,
Rick,
there you go. How can you say that then?
Because you don't pull a guy up from the AHL who's never played an NHL game and immediately put him on the second line. You're asking a guy to fail if you're doing that.
You guys are just not. You're not. You've got prospects out there, and we're afraid to challenge them.
I'm all about calling a guy up
and
working him into the lineup. You start him on the third line. You don't put him immediately on the second line.
If you put him on the second line, you get actual forwards with him.
I don't know. It just sounds like it's a bit of a contradiction. You're saying is you don't want to push guys up into.
These are guys who have already proven what they can do in the NHL. We're still trying to figure out what Benson can do in the NHL.
How many 8-point games does Tyler Benson have?
Exactly.
In the NHL?
Oh, here we go.
Thank you, Dan.
That doesn't fucking make it. That doesn't do
Dan.
shit. Everyone's scared to call up
No,
Yamamoto again.
call him
Yamamoto had another goal, and he's in there. He's creating offense down there. Why not give these guys a chance?
Seeing as just like, I mean, I don't disagree with Rick in the sense that like giving a kid a chance to play in a spot that actually fits for his skill set makes sense. However,
And we've had some injuries that would have been perfect opportunities to put him in there.
However, with Ken Holland at the helm, that's just kind of not what happened. So looking at the current lineup, would you guys rather have Sam Gagner in or Patrick Russell in? Because it seems like it's one or the other with Dave Tippett right
I
now.
love both those guys.
Gagner.
but Gagner.
Russell's got to go away.
Hernan?
Yeah, I got to go with Gagner. Patrick Russell, he's here because he kills penalties, just like Sheahan, Archibald, but those guys bring you nothing offensively.
That's just it. Is there's no offense to those guys at all.
Archibald's got it in him. I don't know.
Well, at least none to Russell right now. Arch has a little bit, but he still can't contribute at a consistent level. And Sheahan, pretty much same there. We got 3 guys, the same type of players out there.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do for tomorrow. According to friend of the nation, friend to everybody, Reed Wilkins, Draisaitl, McDavid, Cassian back together, Granlund up with Nuge and Chase.
Can you like text him and ask? Hold on, wait, because he said that Nylander wasn't on the ice.
Nylander.
Nygaard.
Nygaard, my bad. Why
we traded for Nylander?
Yeah. Finally. So Nygaard wasn't on the ice. So I don't know if that's a maintenance day and he's just taking a spot there. We need some clarification there because there's 2% chance that they're actually going to play him on the second and left spot.
So looking around real quick, there's no clarification on why Nygaard's not on the ice for practice. But right now we've got the first line back together. Granlund, Nuge, and Chiasson is the second. Man, pray for Nuge on that.
Terrifying.
Neil, Haas, Gagner, Kara, Sheahan, Archibald is the fourth. Patrick Russell is the extra. Koskinen in the starters net.
I don't know if Tippett can still say that he likes speed on his line with that third line.
Or that second line.
Haas is just
Well, the second, like I said, I'm really hoping the second line is just because Nygaard's not in there.
Oh, so you think Granlund just slides out?
Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
slides.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why Russell's still not in the lineup. No, you guys we put up 5 goals yesterday. I don't think you can go and pull out some forwards at this point.
What do you think about Draisaitl going back with McDavid? Didn't look like Hernan. I saw you tweeting about it last night. Wasn't working with Nuge. Why is
chemistry there? There's no chemistry there. They're similar, like to carry the puck in. Listen, there's one for sure thing on the Edmonton Oilers. It's Connor McDavid playing with Leon Draisaitl. You need wins now. You've won 2 of your last 8. Stick with what you know. Let Nuge figure it out on his second line. Put Neil back there. Stop screwing around with him on the third line. And then whoever plays on the left side, on the second line, who cares? As long as Neil and Nuge are there, keep your first line intact. And if you get secondary scoring from your third and fourth, it's a bonus. But enough with the trying to separate Draisaitl and McDavid. That's my opinion. I don't know. I know a lot of people are kind of 50-50 on this, that Draisaitl has to carry his own line, but why?
All right.
They don't have a good explanation because he makes $8 million.
No, it's because when he was drafted, he had a C next to his name instead of an LW. If that's the only reason, is because Draisaitl was drafted as a center. They're like, well, he has to be a center now.
Yeah, no.
It's
drafted
idiotic.
as a forward.
the nice part about
It's idiotic.
the nice part about Draisaitl is he can play both, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
See, but when you play these guys together, you can also double shift them separately, and all of a sudden put a little offense into the other lines, right?
And you have a winger who can win faceoffs and kill penalties. Like, that seems like a quite unique player who you should put in a position to succeed, not force him to something else.
I want to talk about Leon Draisaitl a little bit, but first I want to talk about our friends at skipthedishes.ca because I'm hungry. It's 2 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. I need a snack. I'm not just talking about Hernan.
Damn it, you beat me to it. Like, we got Hernan behind the desk.
What's going on? What did I miss?
Well, I was talking about snacks, and then I brought you up, my friend. You were looking good today.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, no problem.
Appreciate
You know what
it.
else is looking good? The thousands of restaurants at skipthedishes.ca, no matter what the cuisine you're after, they've got something for you. Or you can do as we've encouraged you to do over the last, I don't know, how many months? Maybe do a tour. Get yourself a nice appetizer, and then 10 minutes later, you order something different from a different restaurant, and all of a sudden that driver comes over with your entree. A third restaurant bringing your dessert 10 minutes after that.
I had different drivers on Sunday for National Donaire Day. I definitely ordered twice.
What'd you get? Tell us about it.
I went to. I know that we don't sponsor these guys or nothing like that.
No, we won't give them a shout out.
The big guys from out east, the big name there on White Ave. I tried them first
Halifax.
thing. Yeah, I got that. It was okay. It wasn't. I definitely wouldn't put it in the top 5 in the city.
How does it arrive on Skip though? Like, is it a little?
It was honestly. It wasn't. It wasn't that bad.
soggy.
Some
It wasn't
donairs
that
travel
bad.
better.
Yeah.
It wasn't horrible. Like it was relatively comparable to just taking it over the counter.
But I think it's important to mention that this is not the fault of the fine folks at skipthedishes.ca.
No.
No, it's each restaurant for sure.
It is up to the restaurants to
yeah.
pack it.
I blame
for
the
travel.
donair meat because it's so juicy.
Well, when some places can figure it out and others can't, that's not Skip's fault.
Of course not.
It's also not
every
John
donair
Hamm
came soggy.
or Brandon's fault either.
No, John Hamm and Brandon are doing excellent work for skipthedishes.ca. I would marry John Hamm if that helps him get his Canadian citizenship.
I love that, man.
I would just marry him and I'd convert him to be an American.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Skipthedishes.ca. Go get yourself something to eat. If not today, maybe tomorrow. Or while you're doing nothing but watching football on Sunday.
Sundays is a skip the dishes type of day.
That's what we're talking about. Skipthedishes.ca. Go get yourself something to eat.
Unless you're at the Pint, having some beers, having some food, watching the games.
Of course.
You can still call skip the dishes. I definitely have.
They'll bring it there. It'd be great. I want to get back to Leon Draisaitl for a second because over the last couple of games, a little bit quiet, we've seen the reemergence of the Leon is lazy narrative. Again, friend of the nation, friend to everybody. Reed Wilkins was texting me after the Carolina game from the text line.
Oh, that text line must have been.
He was getting a
something
bunch of
else- something
texts saying Leon Draisaitl is lazy, which I find to be hilarious considering he scored 50 goals last year and people were calling him lazy. Dan thought he should be in the AHL. Early this season, he was at a 2-point per game pace. Obviously, that was going to slow down a little bit. Hernan, why do people keep calling Leon Draisaitl lazy?
On the post game last night, we got a caller, Jason and Leduc, because he doesn't mind that I say his name. He actually recommended that the Oilers trade Draisaitl because his value would never be higher, and he was serious. And as you can imagine, we got about 50 texts calling him an idiot. But yeah, no, but you know what? I'll say this: when he's not with McDavid,
He's a different player.
he's different, man.
a different player.
Yeah, but
different.
those guys, they feed off of each other so well, right? So I think
Yeah.
if you gave Nuge and him, 7-10 games to get to know each other, I think it'd be a lot different.
They're the Sedins. You don't break the Sedins
He's
up.
not like that lazy. It's just
No, they don't like his fucking body.
I don't know.
The way he just normally has them like slunched over his shoulders.
He's just like
that's who he
nonchalant.
is.
Like that's just his persona. Like
Even when he scores a massive goal, it's a quick little fucking fist bump and then back to nothing.
Do you not score his 20th goal last night?
Yes.
Like,
So did Connor.
what are we talking about, man? I don't know.
Well, no, I know we're on the same page,
Yeah.
now, but like, where does this come from? Do you think?
I think it is just his demeanor. I mean, I talked about before, it was the same narrative with Carey Price when he was coming up. They always said he was too nonchalant, didn't care. Braden Holtby had the same thing. Usually it's more with goalies, but yeah, I mean, some guys just aren't, some guys just don't have a lot of energy,
Don't get too high.
Yeah.
You don't get too low.
and
you
which is-
kind of stay at an even keel.
which is almost better, I think. That means you're less likely to get rattled. Like Mike Smith, for example. I don't know. That's where it comes from. It's just his demeanor. It's just people. I can see from an outside perspective. You do watch him sometimes, and he does have sort of like a laissez-faire sort of attitude. But it doesn't mean he's lazy. It just means
Google Translate for this podcast now.
it just means that he just has a different way of approaching it.
I always wonder too if it's like one of those things where big dudes, I find, no matter how fast they're moving,
Sure, yeah.
they look slower.
You know,
than
we
if
go
it's a
back
little
to
guy.
like the 90s with this, with Mike Greer. Everyone said he was always so slow. That dude had wheels. But if he wasn't flying out there, everyone thought he wasn't moving. He wasn't trying. Just those
Yammer
big
Yager
fellas.
was never a lazy player, but the guy wasn't flying out there. He
Oh,
just,
look at,
he
Peter
just ground you to
Forsberg.
dust.
And Peter
Yeah.
Forsberg.
Yeah.
These are the types of players that Leon is.
Yes,
you
exactly.
watch the way, dude, he gets that puck on the boards. He turns and sticks his ass in front of you.
Nobody
you
takes
can't
him
get
off
that
it.
puck off of him.
I always said, like, since his rookie season, he plays so much like Yager in that way that
I think he's going to be a Jumbo Joe.
even hopefully. I mean, he'll score more goals probably than Thornton did, but you're right
Perfect.
in the same way he plays.
And,
I just-
and passes that puck so
Yeah.
incredibly well.
I'd
on
like
the
to see him
backhand.
with that beard too.
Oh, I'm not so sure that's in there.
Could you
Well, I
imagine
guess-
how intimidating Draisaitl would look with a fucking Thornton beard?
do you think he has
coming
a
down at ya?
big red beard? He probably does, eh?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd like it.
I just think that Leon gets shit on because when he makes a mistake it looks like he gets really down on himself.
Yeah.
Because he expects himself to like really excel, and you know, we've all come to do that. I just think that, and I think I said this last week too, calling an NHL player lazy is the dumbest fucking thing you can do.
Any pro athlete. Any pro athlete.
It just makes you sound stupid.
And he makes mistakes, and it's fine to call him out on it. But like to call him lazy is just that's a lazy fan just saying, you know, just be negative no matter what Leon does.
You're just driving a narrative that like Toronto wants you to play into.
It's easy to be negative, and it's easy just to jump on this stupid shit and roll with it. And then people think they're being funny.
Yep.
So they think they can make some jokes, and it's just ridiculous.
Does the giveaways thing, is that why? Because he has a lot of giveaways?
I think when he has a giveaway, then he gets down.
No, that's what I'm at. Is it because people look at it and they're like, oh, look, Draisaitl has a lot of giveaways, he must be lazy.
Because he has a puck all the goddamn time.
Well, that's the point I was going to bring up. You know who usually has the most giveaways? The people who have the puck the most, because they move it the most.
Every time he got on the half,
and Chris Russell.
Every time he got on the half board, every time he got on the half boards last night, there was 2 guys on him every time. Yeah. And Minnesota was doing that. They were keying in on Draisaitl. And then, you know, yes, maybe he held onto the puck for 2 seconds too long or whatever. But like, come on, the guy has 2 guys on him all the fucking time. You can't fault the guy when he makes
the dude is where he is. Let's not second guess him. I think because I'm fairly certain he knows what's going on.
Yep,
I do agree with Hernan that away from Draisaitl or away from McDavid, he's a different player.
He is.
But it's like, but it's also like people now are bringing up the minutes that he's played and the minutes that McDavid and him have played. It's no different than last year. The guy had 50 fucking goals last year. McDavid had 116 points last year. Like those guys do what they do, playing a lot of minutes. And that's 3 different coaches now that have played them this way, and they're just fine doing that. So
they're top level athletes. They can handle these minutes. It does not go out there and kill them. They know how to conserve energy when they have to. They know how to expel it when they need to. These guys know what they're fucking doing.
I just think also, just a friendly reminder to anybody listening to this right now, players will, at times, have down games.
No.
And it's funny, the people that are calling them out are the ones who like lose their breath walking up the stairs.
But it's people that are waiting for.
How
hold on,
dare you?
Don't attack me. That's personal.
if you come with us to Calgary, I think everybody's there halfway up the seconds.
Stair boys in Vegas, man.
We're in shape.
Absolutely, we're getting fit.
No, not me. But yeah, no, it's. I do agree. It's just, but it's like people are waiting for this to happen. And that's like one of the, I was doing the tweets last night for Bag Milk, and it was just like when I put out a tweet and then people are like favoriting that tweet, waiting for something to happen, the collapse to happen, and then they can come back and be like, I fucking told you so.
I hate that about Twitter is that even when you're playing well, some people are out there, they're going to pick it apart. And I guess sometimes because I'm just being critical, that's fine. But then as soon as things go bad, it's like these people get rock solid and they come out and they just start yelling all this shit. And they've got like a whole sheet of shit they've been writing for the last 3 weeks. Well, they can't wait to get off their fucking chest.
This is something I always wonder about. And I feel like this is the case for the Oilers, and it might be for other teams, but obviously don't follow them as closely. Is it more important for people to be right or to be happy?
Right, absolutely.
And why? Like, what's wrong? Like, what? Why are you fucking doing this? Like, what do you gain from that?
They got to be right.
You get to point back to your Twitter. And
awesome.
Say, listen, man.
I hope your 13 followers love it.
It's the little victories, man. It's the the small win. I tweeted at Oilers Nation when they tied the game, and I said that they weren't going to win the game, and I'm fucking right. Like that. Just I don't know. Some people get their rocks off on that.
Yeah. Anyway. It's just strange to me. I don't know. I would just rather enjoy the team I'm watching than be like, you know what? I called it. I knew Evan Bouchard would get traded.
Some people aren't happy unless they got someone to bitch about.
Yeah, it's like life as an Oilers fan's a trip, you know?
And I think there's something to that too, that Oilers fans like want to prepare ourselves for the fall.
No, but I don't think it's that. They love when the Oilers are bad. They love that they're not selling out, and it's obviously everything but it has nothing to do with anything else. It has nothing to do with the fact that the Leafs aren't even selling out right now. People love it. They love nothing more than to kick a team when they're down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a quote unquote their team.
Mm-hmm. Their team. Remember, that's your team you're making fun of, people. I'm judging you.
I am.
All of you.
I'm not letting them back on the goddamn bandwagon either.
There's a lot of people tucking and rolling off the bandwagon.
Bro, I got some leg room, man. And I got long legs.
Buddy, I'm captain in this ship, and I'm not going anywhere.
I've never gotten off. This is ridiculous.
Fortunately, right now, Hernan, you ready with the buttons?
Sure am.
It is time for the Tourism Jasper hot and cold performers of the week.
This is hot.
Of course it is. We are going to start with the veggies as we always do. Dessert comes a little bit later. Tricky Nick.
Mike Smith. Move on. Mike Smith.
Ouch.
Cold.
Cold performer of the week.
Mike Smith's glove hand.
Nick just wanted to get that out there right now.
Not even waiting. What are we doing right now?
So now,
Well, you said
Hernan.
Mike Smith, so I'm a little thrown off.
Hernan, we can't replace
He
Tyler
just
with
had-
you
he
if you
just
don't
had
do
no-
the buttons right.
That was his explanation.
yep. So now it's up to you to push a cold button.
Oh, that's cold.
There we go.
There it is.
Well, now we coming up to Rick, your Jasper Tourism or your Tourism Jasper Cold Performer of the Week.
Well, I have to go with, and honestly, there's a mountain of guys to choose from here. If I got to go with one, let's go with Granlund. I'm sorry. He's lost the bananas. We've scraped the peanut butter off,
He's back to dry toast.
and we're right back to where we started.
Not even margarine.
No, nothing. Granlund, you're done. Go
Healthier
away.
alternative.
Tyler appreciates that take. Now press the button. Hernan.
That's really hot.
No, that was the wrong one.
No, that's
we
cold
gotta go
button.
back. We gotta go back to a cold button.
Oh, that's cold.
There we go.
That's right.
All right. We're learning here, people. We're learning.
Yeah, on the fly. Sorry, guys.
The Nation Dan, your Tourism Jasper Cold Performer of the Week.
Once again, we'll take a prospects angle to this. Of
course.
And it's actually going to be an entire team, our AHL affiliate, the Bakersfield Condors.
That's not fair.
Oh, that's cold.
So for the month of December, they have 2 losses, which is fucked to say that the entire month they've only had 2 losses, but they haven't had any wins. And they've lost by a combined score of 13-5.
So they're 0-2.
They are
Just say they're 0-2.
but for an entire fucking month to play, it's what, December the 13th now, and they've only played 2 games.
Their goaltending's been really bad.
But the goaltending has been really bad. They've allowed 13 goals and only had 5 themselves.
Hasn't Starrett been hurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's been Dylan Wells and Skinner.
they're putting
and then-
they're putting up some goals here and there. But
They're trying, but yeah, it's just it's a cold goaltending time down in Bakersfield.
Hernan, I'm gonna go to you. Your Tourism Jasper Cold Performer of the Week.
God damn it, this is hard because there's so many to choose from. But I'm gonna go with
Bad sign.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everyone sucks.
Everyone just can I
How do you
name
think
the
they-
whole team? No,
How do you
I'm
think they
kidding.
do this on the Detroit Red Wings podcast?
I'm going to go, and I'm going to take the easy way out here. Chris Russell, he played 11 minutes in his last game against Carolina, obviously because the coach didn't want him out there. And then last night, he was awful. 3 times he had the puck on his stick, no pressure, and he couldn't make a damn pass. So for me, he is my cold.
Oh, that's cold.
For me, I'm going to go ahead and look at the coach.
Ooh.
Dave Tippett, you are my Cold Performer of the Week because when the wheels are falling off, I feel like there is a timeout to be had, my friend, or at least a regrouping where we come to the bench. We all say, all right, let's chill. Let's take a breath. Connor, Leon, you rest up. You're going back out there. But no timeouts were called, Hernan. 0. My Cold Performer of the Week is Dave Tippett.
Oh, that's cold.
But with that out of the way, we can now move on to the positives. We're going to go start at the other end. We're starting with Hernan with his Hot Performer of the Week, the Tourism Jasper Hot Performer of the Week. Hernan, coming at you.
Oh, that's another tough one.
Everybody's so bad.
Everybody's so damn bad. Like, who was hot for the Edmonton Oilers team? No, I got to go with the captain, Connor McDavid. He was brilliant against Carolina with Nygaard, whatever, however way you say that name, and Cassian. And then he was good last night, too. He scored a beauty on a beauty pass by Ethan Bear. So for me, my hot is Connor McDavid.
That's really hot.
The Nation Dan coming at you for your Tourism Jasper Hot Performer of the Week.
So he started out in his second pro season with Bakersfield, and he got sent down to the Wichita Thunder, which is not a great thing to have happen in your second year in pro. Mm-hmm. But with the Wichita Thunder, one Cameron Hebig is playing Thick right now. He's got 5 points in his last week down in Wichita. So Cameron Hebig, your hot performer of the week.
Are you saying Jujar has a little competition coming up?
Well, Hebig. He not thick.
That was hot. That's hot.
Rick, your Tourism Jasper Hot Performer of the Week.
I I got to go with my Swedish defenseman friend and say, you know what? I really like the way Adams played in the last couple games. He's starting to turn the corner. It looks like that he's fully recovered from the injury, and we're going to see a different version of him, that usually plays. We see kind of when he's playing for Sweden instead of what we've seen in the NHL so far.
This is hot.
Tricky Nick, you are a hot performer of the week.
I've waxed poetic about him already, so I'll keep it short and sweet. But Sam Gagner, number 89, in your program, number 1 in your heart.
That's really hot.
He's done amazing. Never take him out of the lineup, and let's win.
Wow.
Let's win him a cup here, guys.
My Tourism Jasper Hot Performer of the Week is the first overall pick in 2011. He just had a goal and an assist in his last 2 games, getting to 400 points as an Edmonton Oiler. My Tourism Jasper Hot Performer of the Week is the wonderful, the very well endowed, in my opinion, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
That was hot. That's hot.
We brought up Larson a lot today, and it made me think of another question. Is Matt Benning more important to this team than people maybe think he is?
Yeah, he is. He's a good player.
He's a whipping boy, so it's easy to get down on him. But if you actually sit there and watch him and know what you're looking for, you'll see that he's a lot better than what people like they like to say.
Yeah, Tyler brings it up all the time, but he's a perfect third pairing defenseman. He is.
That was going to be my Hernan's hot take, that the Oilers actually miss Matt Benning.
Have they said how long he's out for?
No, but hopefully he's back soon, because I think him and Russell complement each other so well. And Matt Benning is the whipping boy here. Trust me, the text box just absolutely hates this
Like, what
guy
do they
for
say
so
about
many.
him?
Yeah, like what's the general vibe on him?
Matt, don't listen to this
He
part.
can't make a pass. He's horrible defensively. Like, what is he doing out there? You know, blah blah blah. He belongs in the AHL. And I'm like, come on, this guy. For me, he's better than Chris Russell. He's your number 5 on this team with your top 4. So for me, Matt Benning, I think the Oilers do really miss him, and hopefully he's back sooner rather than later.
I've been screaming this a long time, at least this year. We've all said that Matt Benning is, definitely an NHL player. You said he's better than Chris Russell. At this point, when Benning comes back, is Russell tradable? Not will anybody trade for him. Are you now willing to move him on and go with Jones and Benning and either a Manning as 7, or you've got a Patterson you can bring up? Are we finally at the point where we can move on Chris Russell?
I think the Oilers have been wanting to move on him for years, but I just don't think there's anyone out there willing to give up anything for him at this point. Maybe as we get close to the trade deadline, depending where the Oilers are at, and with his contract kind of dwindling down here, you can move him, but I just don't think there's any
gotta
takers.
Be a couple GMs out there. I mean, good Branson got traded. There's a lot of guys.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Even if we went and made a trade that was similar to the Lucic Neal trade, where it's just bad contract for bad contract, and we gave somebody a fresh start here who wasn't a defenseman, who might be a 4th line or a 3rd line player, and you go make that trade, and now all of a sudden you let Jones is in your lineup to go, let him roll Benning. You get some fresh blood over there on the in the top 9 or in the 4th line or whatever. Like, I think that's where we're at right now.
Is Zach Bogosian sexier than a Chris Russell?
No, guys, Chris Russell's important.
Okay, first of all, Clefbaum leads the league in blocks. Adam Larson down here played a whole game with a broken leg. We don't need the Chris Russell anymore.
Chris Russell leads our team in on-ice save percentage. 96%.
Oh, wait, sorry. You said save percentage. I thought when I was taking goalie stats, I thought you were making a joke.
0.960 save percentage when Chris Russell is on the ice. When him and Benning play together, their on-ice save percentage is 98%. Chris Russell is a very, very useful, important third pairing defenseman. He is. And the thing is,
then it should be easy to trade him.
But if you're having Patterson and you're having Caleb Jones and you're having Ethan Bear in your lineup, you know what the problem is with having young puck-moving defensemen?
Patterson's not in the lineup.
But if he were to be...
That's too many rookies. I can only go 2, sorry.
But the problem with having a Caleb Jones playing full-time is they give the puck away. They make mistakes as kids.
We're talking giveaways?
Chris Russell, like Hernan said, had a couple bad giveaways last night, but for the most part, they don't result in goals. When him and Benning play together, they have 1 goal against while playing together.
How many giveaways does
He's
Jones
useful.
have
I get he's useful.
He's useful.
But obviously
He's a guy
with
you
Jones and Bear now, he's going to become
Guys,
expendable.
I don't
But
think-
right now, you need him in the lineup.
You don't want Jones playing the rest of the season.
Yes, you
full
do.
time. No, you don't.
Why?
Man,
You hate young people. Why do you hate young people?
I don't hate them, but it's like you can't put him. I mean, I hate millennials.
He hates
right.
when I talk
hate-
about
that's
TikTok.
right.
Yeah, when Bagmel brings up TikTok, I'm just like, can you turn that shit off and put it on my AM radio, please? No, I don't hate them. It's just, and you've talked about before, Rick. So I don't know why you go back and forth with this. Is we've constantly put young players in a position to fail in this.
They're
in
not
this organization.
19. They're not 18. That's completely
and the thing
different.
with Caleb Jones is going to be he's got better attributes than Chris Russell.
Absolutely.
The
But
only
what
thing-
happens with Caleb Jones when he starts playing too many minutes?
That's
he
just it.
starts falling
That's
off
just it.
big time. He's good when he plays limited minutes and a game here and there. When you put him into that top 4, he struggles.
Like he could get there. He could get there one day.
Of
but-
course.
But
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, Caleb Jones is not. He's just not a full-time NHL defenseman.
Sure he is. You just got to give him his time. The only thing he has to work on now is in-game spin. The only things he can learn is he has to play the games now. Like you can't play at NHL speed in the AHL.
Definitely not. So
I think he's an NHL defenseman on a third
Full-time,
pair.
not full-time, though.
But
Yeah,
with
on a third
Russell and
pair.
Benning under contract, he's the odd man out.
I think
that's,
so, too.
That's unfair,
and aren't
but
they-
that's the way it is.
Isn't there rumors that they're showcasing him right now anyway?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, I mean,
No,
the
I
thing with
wouldn't.
Caleb
That's small.
Jones. Thing with Caleb Jones is he becomes he's no longer waiver exempt next season. So the
Yeah.
Oilers have to make a choice on him. They have to make a decision. Is he going to stick with the team, or are they going to use him as part of a package to maybe acquire? A
And this is the
forward or-
time to figure that out. Even if you actually put Russell as their 7th. And let them flip in and out every now and then.
You see, I don't mind that. I'm not ready to just ship Russell off and have Caleb Jones take that spot full time. But I'm okay with them sharing that load. But I think that they
Nice.
both bring. Yeah. That's the old 769 there. No, but I think that there's value in having a guy like Russell somewhere around in the lineup. Yeah, it's when somebody watches, Dan.
Yeah, handing out the popcorn upstairs.
Okay.
I have got a new feature on this week's podcast that I'm very excited about, mostly because Tyler's not here and we're allowed to do it. This is going to be the first ever, maybe a weekly thing called Hernan's Hot Takes.
You let us know.
If you follow Hernan on Twitter, which you should,
He didn't even give him like a hand signal either.
No.
He just
wow.
no,
slow played on
we're
it.
doing a improv exercise with Hernan. Go follow him on Twitter at Hernan Demand. I encourage you to do it because his feed is hilarious during games. Matt Benning was stolen from you, my friend. Is
Yes.
Hernan's hot take of the week.
I got another one though.
Go ahead.
Of course you
Told
do.
you he's got a
Of course
pocket
you
full of
do.
these things.
Alex Chason.
Oh, okay.
Enough of him in the top 2. He's
Hey.
gotten too much opportunity. He has done nothing with it. I said it this season. I said it in the offseason. I said it last season. This guy's the 3rd, 4th line center who had one good year. He belongs in the 3rd, 4th line. Is anyone surprised that he's not scoring points? Guess who? It's not. I'm not. Because this is what he is. Stop playing him on the power play in the top 6. He's not a goal scorer. He's a 3rd, 4th liner. That's it. Enough of him. How many other Oilers have gotten the opportunity Chason has this year?
Nobody.
Cassian, but he's executed.
Exactly.
Sam Gagner?
James
No.
Neal.
Gagne doesn't even get the opportunities that.
No, but James Neal and Chase. So for me, Hernan's hot take is enough
right.
with Alex Chason. He is what he is. I hated the contract that they gave him on July 1st. And and trust me, there's a lot of media and fans on Twitter that said, you got to sign him up. I knew right away he would never score 20 goals again in his career. He might not even hit 15, goddammit. Like, what are we talking about here? So enough of Chason in the top 6. That's my hot take tonight. Or today. What time is it? I've had a couple of beers.
Oh, there is a horn on one of those buttons, Hernan.
Yeah, feel free to just There we go. Hernan's hot takes. Go follow him on Twitter at Hernan Demand. I encourage you to
You
do
guys
it.
agree with Chason, or am I way off?
No,
I
Jason
agree. You're
has been
100%
an
right.
absolute passenger this year.
The thing
He's
is,
just been-
Hernan, I agree with you entirely that, and this kind of brings me to Cassian in a sense, but it's same but different, if you will. Chason played the bulk of last season with Connor McDavid.
Yes.
Cashed in 22 goals, which is a career high, but like far and away a career high.
But he did it in like half a year.
Yeah, he missed a bunch of games.
And then he
in the
couldn't
early,
do it in the back half.
Exactly. But he still got a contract as though he could potentially score 20 again. And I agree with Hernan 100%. And that's why I feel very, very concerned about what's going to happen with Zach Cassian's
But look
next
at the contract he got, though. Look what kind of raise he got. What was he at? Like 900, and then he went to 1.5?
No, he's at 2-1.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
2-1.
at
What was
2.
he? What was he at last year? Sorry.
Which I would sign Cassian too.
I would if Cassian's
Yeah, but let's
next
look at the
contract starts with a
percentage
2.
rate. Let's look at the percentage raise that Chiasson got, and I'm fairly certain I'll give that to Zach.
Feel free to just vamp while I pull this up.
Was
from
he-
our
he-
friends
unless
at
he was
Puck
like-
Media.
Was he
how you're just like,
750? No.
Tell me what it is.
Was he
Bag milk,
750?
do the digging.
Give me
No,
a
because
second here.
he would have been a PTO. I'm gonna guess at 1.5.
Oh,
It was
great.
1.
1.5.
And you always have to be cautious. And I think Ray Ferraro said in one of the shows last season about Ryan Zingle. He said, always be cautious of guys having great years on bad teams.
Peugeot.
Like, seriously, yeah. Like,
That's
no,
why I don't
Peugeot,
want to touch that guy.
Peugeot's good and all that, but don't expect him to put up the numbers he did if he comes to Edmonton, let's just
Someone
say.
has to
Like,
score
Zingle
goals.
went to, Columbus, and he was a healthy scratch when he came to playoff time.
Yep.
So guys on bad teams putting up big numbers, you always have to be cautious of that.
Yep.
So to answer the question, I'm finally caught up with our friends at puckpedia.com. Alex Chiasson last season only made a league minimum $650,000.
Shit. Okay, definitely
He
don't
got-
give him that percentage raise then.
3 times the money.
Yeah, don't
More
give
than
him that percentage raise.
Good Lord.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. James Neal just came in and did what Chiasson has done. So did for us last year, right?
Essentially, he's scoring
Yeah.
all those power play goals.
Power play goals that Chiasson had last year.
Great smile, though.
But
least
but
he-
Neil is a top
But
six.
that's what you want. But that's what you want from James Neal. But then to have signed Chiasson for the numbers that we did, you're absolutely right. Then you're just doubling down.
That
on
was
something that
who?
you can't.
Yeah,
make
didn't we
happen.
sign Chiasson first though? Then the trade.
Yep.
Yeah,
For sure,
I think
but-
they signed Chiasson. I think it was a bit of a safety net.
And it drives me crazy when I hear him and then some of the media say, they got to get him going. Jason doesn't get going, man. He's just is what he is.
Yeah, he'll pop some here and there, and that's what
exactly.
I don't care if Tyler is back next week, Hernan. We need you to send in an audio clip of Hernan's hot take. I need that. We got a minute or so, a couple minutes left in the podcast. Nick, I want to finish off with some listener questions.
Okay.
We posed the question on ON Radio Podcast today on Twitter. Some questions came in. Let's run through them real quick. Nicholas Good, what do we got?
Okay. How about this one from our friend Drew Steele? Would you guys swap up the defensive pairings at all? Goalies have let in too many, but on a lot of them, the team has left them for dead.
No, I'm not. No, you run Nurse and Bear, you run Clefbaum Larson, and then you run Jones and Russell, or I'd like to see Jones and Benning just to see how it works. Or he's probably his best off going, as everyone else wants to go, is Russell and Benning.
Hernan, what do you think?
No, I agree with Rick. I don't think you make any moves there. Again, I don't think this is the D-core problem. I think it's a team when it comes to the defensive play. So Nurse Bear have been really good. Clefbaum Larson are finding their groove. They struggled mightily in their first 2 games together. But then your third pairing, I don't care if you rotate Bear, Manning, Russell, or Benning. I think you have to have those 4 guys in your third pairing. So I'd keep it the same.
Dan, D pairings?
I don't know. I liked when they split up Larson and Clefbaum because I think it just kind of allowed the 2 of them to grow. But then the problem is that there's nobody that can really.
Then you got to split up, unless
guys.
you're going to split up Bear and Nurse.
So it's tough. Yeah, I don't know. I like Bear and Nurse, and if they had the games that they had last night continually, then you have to split that fucking pairing up.
Clefbaum and Larson will be okay because Nurse and Bear can take more minutes than any other pairing did last year. So once those minutes come down for both those groups, then I think you'll be okay.
Wouldn't it be fun to see Clef and Bear?
Sure.
That'd be fun to me.
Here's another one from our friend Kaylor Mimamoto. Is there a better option than Smith on the team right now? Obviously, Koskinen being the starter, but once Starrett comes back from injury, is it a good idea to test him or Stuart Skinner out and see if they're better than Smith?
To me, the real answer is it's already on the roster. Throw some goalie pads on Chris Russell. That is the time for him to shine.
That works for everybody.
I still feel as though deep inside him that there is a spot where he's upset with his parents for not allowing him to be a goalie.
Do you run with 2 blockers on him then?
Oh, you got to.
Oh, Dan Blackburn style.
Absolutely.
Bag Milk, you'll know this one. What is the best cure for Oilers PTSD besides actually winning games?
Brum.
There it is.
Let me tell you. I had a couple of shots of Brum last night on the Beatcast. It made me feel way better. Way better.
And then let's maybe wrap up with this one. This is from Mike Bond. Who was Tyler Yaremchuk's best man / woman at the wedding this week?
I think that they did a modern
Mickey?
wedding.
Was it Mickey?
It could have been Mickey.
Pluto?
Yeah. I feel,
Lightyear?
Yeah.
I feel like Tyler's a big Pluto guy.
Yeah, they're kind of like lanky or
Yeah.
goofy. Be a
Something like
goofy
that.
guy, yeah.
Something
Yeah,
of the dog variety.
With the large feet.
Oh, sorry. Actually, Surveyor Brett has a good one here too. Obviously, we all want to know how and when Tyler popped the question. And did he trip over his giant feet trying to get down on one knee?
There's some history there between those two, because that's the guy that Tyler just gives it to every time he plays with him as a ref.
Well, I think Surveyor Brett, we all know the answer to that question. None of this proposal definitely did not happen near stairs, which are, of course, Tyler's greatest nemesis with those pontoons for feet.
They're kayaks. So for our next episode, please text or at us, I guess, on Twitter at the ON Radio.
ON Radio podcast.
Yeah, and we'll answer some more of your questions. We'll get to as many as we can.
And then just to finish off, we got
Hernan's got something to say.
Go ahead, buddy.
Just quickly, Jack Michaels. I know Rick was asking, knee guard, a possibility for tomorrow is a maintenance day today.
That's what I was getting at.
So maintenance day.
Oh, sorry, I jumped
Me and
on there.
Hernan are
Great
on
Sorry, man. That's just me being a radio producer jumping
Hernan.
in and
That's
interrupting.
perfect.
I am so sorry. I'll turn my mic off.
You don't got to say sorry.
Tyler's been replaced.
What I like here is that Hernan and I are always on the same page. Unlike what happens with Tyler, where he just stares at us and wishes for this podcast to be over.
gets really angry that we go over the last.
This is our one chance to go do a 3-hour marathon.
Yeah. We'll release it in 3 parts this week just because that's what we want to do. But we are going to wrap it up real quick. Score predictions for tomorrow's game against the Leaves. Hernan, I'm going to start with you. What is the final score going to be between the
Edmonton Oilers. Sorry, go ahead.
and the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Edmonton
You guys are on the
Oilers.
same page there.
Edmonton Oilers 4, Toronto Maple Leafs 3.
Dan?
5-4 Edmonton Oilers. Leon Draisaitl 2 goals and an assist.
Ooh.
Rick?
3-1 Oilers.
Nicholas?
5-0. Fuck the Leafs.
Hell yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be a high-scoring affair again. I'm going to call a 6-4 Oilers victory. I want to go ahead and wrap up episode 66 of Oilers Nation Radio by thanking our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant. Go ahead and follow them on social media. Again, skipthedishes.ca. All they want to do is feed you. Eat something. You look faint.
And buy a truck.
Buy a truck also. And then thanks to Tourism Jasper as well for sponsoring the Hot and Cold Performer of the Week segment. Thank you to Hernan for filling in and doing all of the things that Tyler never could. Chipping in, reading my brain. It's all nice. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram at ON Radio Podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Shout out Damien.
Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media to stay up to date and never miss a podcast.